Well, I'm in race one. I was in race 156, and then not in again until the 15th. Now, on the camera. Not a very nice night. Not a horrible night, but just that constant snow was falling, and I just decided Ava had dance at 7, so I decided to go back to Brunswick for an hour and a half or so. Get her home and come back for early play. Who's in the 15th race. Now, it was cold tonight, but it wasn't bitterly cold. It was winter. We had 2 in early. We had Trevino on green, making his first start in maiden. And we had Watch Your Mouth racing also. Now, both horses I wouldn't say are superstars, but they're pretty okay horses. Trevino on green, I guess the jury's still out. You know, what I love about Trevino on green, I've already had a number of messages saying, oh my God, I made that break, but he looked like he was going to run the whole way. He wasn't, and the only reason he made a break in the first turn, I let his hobbles out, and he kind of got bunched up just for a second coming up behind somebody in the first turn. Now, usually all our horses follow really well, but again, really green trotter. And as he got close, just for a second, he hesitated and he couldn't catch himself. He was a little rolly in that turn anyway. I told you guys, I didn't really want to race him at Northfield, but he didn't get in. He didn't get in at the Meadows, and I would like to actually move him over to the Meadows and start racing him there. I say this a lot about International Man, too. You know who he reminds me of? Stay Close. Much younger, weaker version of Stay Close. Now, weaker, I just mean he's a baby, right? I don't know how Stay Close was at 2. I know he raced in stake races, trained down, I'm assuming, pretty strong, but their gait, they forge a lot. You hear them click, click, click. When you get Trevino on green excitable and maybe in a position where he's frustrated, it almost sounds like a drum set, touching everywhere, but not sitting behind him and knowing the horse. I wish I only let his hobbles at 1 hole. I scored them down once, let them out 1 hole, scored them down again. They still felt like they were biting him a little bit, so I let them out another hole. Oddly enough, coincidentally, Stay Close didn't like his hobbles tight either. He wore them as long as you could get them, but still in a position where he was using them. I don't know if that makes sense to you or not. It's like the 3 Little Bears, the porch, right? Not too tight, not too loose, just tight enough. And I think that maybe Trevino on green on a snowy track needed them to be just that 1 hole tighter, and I probably could have kept him at it the first turn. But showed interest in the race, showed interest to get back in the race, and finished up well for him. Again, we're trying to gauge him. I'm trying to take a step back and look at his entire body of work. Here's a horse that looked worse than that, training down at a gear rough his whole 2-year-old training session, and still is rough, still is at a gear, but understands his job a little bit more. And the thing that is most important, and I just get finished telling one of our partners, Jim, about this when it comes to Trevino on green. The most important takeaway from tonight was that he wanted to do his work, right? It sounds silly. You might think that that's not a big deal because they'll learn to do it. They won't. They have to want to do it and continue to have that hunger and competitiveness. When you take that away from them, well, then you just have a shell of the horse you hoped you had. So, Trevino on green, was he pretty? No. And he's never going to be pretty. Ever. But I would suspect over that track, that mile, putting him on a track like the Meadows, I think he trot 2 minutes, 2-1 right now. You could probably get him down towards 58, 59 as we got 6, 7, 8 starts into him. So I think you're going to see him race maiden claimer, maiden type deal, and he'll do in there. Not a bad horse. Now we start to get to a position where, okay, he's got some room left, and then he's going to get in trouble. At that point, we can maybe discuss moving him, but that's not for a little while yet. Watch Your Mouth, when he gets out of that class, it's going to get a little salty at Northfield. He'd be a perfect horse for, like, Batavia, or I don't think Yonkers. Saratoga. Yeah, Batavia or Saratoga, I think he'd be a good fit for. But he didn't race bad tonight either. I think he was probably beat 5 pounds, 4 pounds. That's how much weight I put on him the last 2 weeks. A decent second place finish for him. Now, early plays coming in. We don't talk about early play very much. He has a stable horse. One of our clients, Tommy, owns early play. and a horse that we've been kind of working on. He's a bit of a project, but it's been going well for the past 3 weeks or a month. We'll see what happens tonight. I don't know. We'll see how early play races tonight. So that is it for us for the most part. We early play tonight, later on, and then tomorrow we get a couple of qualifiers. I can't come back for the qualifiers. I'm going to be at the Meadows. I just spoke to Chris Limbs. He was worried there might be one horse he may have to drive that's in against Century Legion, which I hope isn't the case. I told him, I said, listen, it sucks coming in early. I'll pay you for your time. I'd love to see you go with both those horses. The little guy, the little white-faced Marseille colt, to be fine. I said, if I'm not mistaken, you might have already gone with him once at the baby races way back last June. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, but I think he did. And he's been training well. Jason said the horse looks good, is training good, and I suspect he'll qualify quite easily tomorrow. Now, Century Legion, we did make the shoeing adjustments with him. Just very minor shoeing adjustments with him for tomorrow. I told him the mistake I made, I moved him over and expected him to trot forward. He touched his outside knee, get out of gear, and made a break. We did make an adjustment. We are going to be adding knee boots tomorrow. In this situation, I would go with knee tape because it's very, very minor if he touches it all. But obviously, it's enough to make him make a break. So let's go with the knee boots for tomorrow and see how he trots that way. We're going to opt away from boots tomorrow to go with polos and vet wrap. I want to see if he marks them up at all. I don't think he will, but I want to see if he does. So that is what's on for tomorrow. And then obviously I'm going to be at the Meadows tomorrow, and then also at Northfield Park tomorrow night. So a snowy night here in Ohio. I was having a good week. I woke up this morning. For those of you following me on Facebook, you may note that I made a post this afternoon saying a friend of mine lost his ID. Well, it wasn't a friend. It was me. I didn't lose my ID. I lost everything. The only thing I have to my name is an Ohio State Racing Commission license that I got tonight in my passport. When I was rushing, I told you guys this morning, I was rushing to get the dog, go back and get the dog because I forgot him, and then go to Ohio. I stopped for gas at Angola. Now, Angola used to be open all the time, but now it's just a gas stations and porta potties while they build the place. The thing is, it's right on the highway. And I was thinking, I'm going to get home on the fuel I have, but Amy's going to wake up to take the kids to school tomorrow. There's going to be no gas in her car. She's going to have to stop. You know what? I'm going to stop in Angola, fill it up. And Angola has the nozzle that doesn't have the clippy thing in it there. You got to kind of wedge something in there if you're going to fill up and go somewhere. And I want to run over and use the bathroom really quick. Come back. It had clicked off. Well, never really thought about it, but it must have clicked off. Me being in a rush, never really thought anything about it. The card clip must have fallen down and went under the car, or just laid there. And when they plowed the service bay, bye-bye cards. So my Nexus card, credit cards, everything gone. So I spent the afternoon a little frustrated with myself. I've done that before too. A little frustrated with myself and just frustrated in general. But tomorrow I have to start get my license. I did have an Ohio driver's license. I got to go back in. I did change the address anyway. I got to go back in, get that done. Check. I canceled one credit card, hoping that somebody would turn them in and find those cards. So I only canceled one. I'm gonna have to cancel them all tomorrow and start over. The biggest problem is the Nexus card, right? You can't go in the Nexus line at that border. Can't go in the Nexus line at the border without that card. And I'm not really sure how long it takes them to get a replacement out. I don't think it's on the top of their priorities of things to do. So we'll see. So that is, it's never easy, right? But as I was talking to Scotty briefly today, and I said, hey, if that's the worst thing that happens to me over the course of 2025, it'll be a good year. So that's what's going on today. I'm going to train a bunch of horses tomorrow. It's going to be cold, but they have to train. We'll train a bunch of horses tomorrow, start getting our horses prepped and ready to go again, start getting the babies back going on a full schedule, and wait for this cold weather to break. So, I hope you are warm wherever you are. I hope you have all your cards and your ID. We'll talk to you all very soon. Have a wonderful rest of your night.